Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. In today's video I want to have a look at Avalanche. Now Avalanche, or AVAX as its ticker is a layer 1 cryptocurrency. It was labeled as like a ethereum killer back in 2020 when it launched, and it hasn't succeeded so far, as Ethereum is still second place in the coin market cap and Avalanche is 20th. But you never know, only time will tell. It hasn't had a longer start as Ethereum, where this coin is about 3 years old now and Ethereum is about 8. So you never know, maybe in another 5 years time Avalanche might overtake Ethereum. But again, that's neither here nor there for this video. Getting straight into the price, we can see that Avalanche has had a very rough, few years to be honest with you, but zooming in we can see that it's just been downhill since mid-July. So for about the last month we've just had steady pain for Avalanche, and especially in the last few days where it seems to have just dropped off a cliff, and we can see that we dropped about 20% from peak to trough over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, which is not great for any crypto. I'm sure it's safe to say. Now we had a little recovery here, but ultimately I think this will go lower. We did just put in a new cycle low, just about. Now it's only by a few fractions of a cent, but it's still a new low. So something to be aware of. And it did break down below this sort of $10 mark. Now it is back up here now. There's obviously a solid support level at the $10. One that we sort of tested before and then bounced right back up to $11 and stayed up there. The fact that we've come down here again is a bit worrying for me. And again, I think we're not through this bear market. I don't think we're going to start seeing any solid uptrends that last more than 3 months sort of thing for a long while. So I do think Avalanche is due for more pain and could definitely go below this $10 mark. Pulling out our fibs from the beginning of the year, we can see that basically, we've already said the support at the $10 level, and at the beginning of the year the highest resistance was the $22, and as we can see, it sort of exploded at the beginning of the year like Solana did, and ever since just pain all the way down. Now, to be fair to Avalanche, it did rally up quite a few times, very volatile looking these last few months, this last year basically, ever since it peaked really in late 2021 at $150. But in general, not good news. And with the bearish sort of Bitcoin price movements and this talk of a secondary scare that often happens, I think Avalanche will be dragged down along with Bitcoin, and we could see an even lower low, even from the sort of FTX price, and even from this June 10th price, where the market seemed to just collapse for Avalanche especially. It's been a very versatile coin and it hasn't held up well this market cycle, but it is I think it's the most institutionally backed cryptocurrency to date, I think, raising the highest amount at its ICO, or its ICOs I should say, which is sort of a sign that where FTX was a warning to this for sure, about believing, if you back the horse that everyone else is backing, you'll probably be okay. FTX was definitely a warning about that, because some of the biggest investors backed FTX, and FTX was a big scam and ruined everyone. But I don't know if Avalanche is the same as FTX. Again, I haven't looked too deeply into how Avalanche's financials are and all this. I wouldn't know. But it's what all the big spenders have invested in. It raised the most amount of capital, its ICO. It's definitely not worth having a look at every now and then. So it's also a shock really to see how poorly it's performed this year. Now, do I see it going back to its all-time highs? I do. I don't think these people would be investing in Avalanche so heavily if they didn't believe that it would die in one cycle. I think it will be a coin that will be around for a long time, and definitely this next bull run. Now, whether we see it go to $8 before that, whether it goes to $5 before that, I really couldn't tell you. But I do think there is more pain, and I definitely think we'll go below this $10 mark, like we did twice before this year. If we have a look at our moving average, we can see that, basically Avalanche has been pushing down this lower Bollinger Band, and looks like it will continue to do so. It's sort of following this trend, and we can see this peak and move down. The price will probably go with that for a little while at least. Zooming out, we can see that Avalanche has only ever broken above the moving average basically since the beginning of this year, after it had its big pump, and then around in May, when a lot of alts started to collapse, Avalanche hasn't been able to climb back above it, and even got rejected here back in July, literally bang on the moving average. So we could see a little recovery here and then another drop. We could go straight down. We might rally back up and get rejected off the moving average. I couldn't really tell you. Having a look at Avalanche's Bitcoin pair, we can see that basically since the beginning of the year it's the same story. A little rally at the beginning of 2023 here, up about 50%, 45% if you timed it well, which you probably didn't, no offense. And then ever since then, it's just been pain, and we're currently at a negative 60% of the price today on Avalanche. So you'd be losing an extra 60% of your money if you're holding an Avalanche compared to Bitcoin. And again, I'm the exact same, guys. Every time I do one of these videos, I'm like, ooh, this alt looks like a really good price right now. It looks like a really good price. I might pop a bit more into this. If the 4-year cycle is anything to go by, should not do this. If you're going to put it into a crypto, put it into Bitcoin. Although Bitcoin is looking very bearish right now, so I might say hold off even. Hold it in dollar and maybe wait another month and see where Bitcoin is then, put a bit into Bitcoin. And then maybe in a few months move out from Bitcoin to Avalanche, whatever crypto you want to look at. But again, it's just like, if you had put your money in Avalanche when it peaked back in December of 2021, you'd be down an extra 85% of what you would be if you had just stayed in Bitcoin, or if you'd moved to Bitcoin here, which kind of says a lot in my opinion. Minus 85% of your 10% from all-time high is very rough to imagine, and I'm sure there's plenty of you that have sort of experienced that and may be going through it right now. So I know it might be impossible to seem to be able to do, but your best bet might be to sell your Avalanche. I don't know. Again, not your financial advisor. I couldn't tell you what to do because I don't know your situation. Just it seems like a very downward trend all the time for these cryptos, and especially on their BTC pairs, nothing's changed. It's just been downhill for the last 2 years, realistically. And I can see another sort of 6 months of this happening, where it's just downhill for cryptos. Now we are sort of coming to this crunch level. If we draw a few lines here from where our biggest supports are, we can see that we are close to this sort of level where Avalanche sort of found a lot of support last cycle before its bull run, and then maybe once we see it reach this on its Satoshi pair, it might be worth buying in a bit, because we can see that it dips below it, comes above it, spends a bit of time above it, and then it finally bounces off it and rallies into its own sort of bull run. We could see something like that play out, where we go a bit below and then maybe we rally above, or we rally above, come back down and then bounce up. Who knows, but I would not be purchasing these altcoins until this sort of level here is met. Anyway guys, that'll just about do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. Really appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot. Anyway, take care guys, and peace.